and welcome. Thank you for watching. I'm Wes of the Universal Life Church of Massachusetts, and today I want to talk about the Charles Dickens story, A Christmas Carol. And it is just a few days before Christmas now, and I thought it would be a good time. I've mentioned this in other videos, but I want to do a separate video on it to explain it. Because this is a story, if you haven't seen it, this is a story of Scrooge, the grumpy old man who gets visited by three ghosts. Now, this is it's called A Christmas Story. But there's no Santa Clauses, there's no reindeers, this is a different kind of Christmas story. This is talking, and Charles Dickens was a very wise person. His work stood the test of time because of that. He touches the subconscious mind. There's two perspectives in this world, and the great movies and great stories touch all of them, both sides, so that everybody enjoys it. It's very popular because people can see it from their own perspective and enjoy the story. This is one of them. This is a story of a Christmas story. And if you watched any of my other videos, Christmas and the story, there's a hidden meaning underneath. And it is the meaning of a rebirth, an enlightenment, an awakening. That's what we're talking about. That's what I talk about on this channel. And I try to point out the stories that are trying to tell us this message of Christmas that most people don't know. It's the real secret of Christmas. And because it's a story telling us about something we should seek out, and that is enlightenment, awakening. And that's what happens to Ebenezer Scrooge in this movie. Because in order to have an enlightenment, it is a difficult process that sometimes takes people until they're as old as Scrooge to figure these secrets of life out about our minds. Most people don't. They die and never learn these secrets, which are what life is all about. What you're here to do is learn and grow. Grow into what? Grow into enlightenment, which activates parts of the brain you don't even know you have. So it is, and the Hindus believe that if you don't reach enlightenment, you come back again, and you continue to grow and grow until you do. And then once you do, after this death, you transcend into other realms. That I don't know. I haven't done that yet. So, Ebenezer Scrooge is a grumpy old man living on the selfish side of life. There's good and evil. And we break it all down, boil everything down. Good is selflessness, sharing, caring, helping others. Evil is selfishness, because everything evil is selfish and everything good is selfless. That's just what it is. Those are the energy. We live in a dualistic world of poles, like a magnet. Energy. Think of energy always, because that's what everything is. Everything has an opposite. Even our emotions. There are positive and negative emotions based on selfishness and selflessness. And what your chemicals in your body are released with different emotions. All these things create an emotional state and a vibrational rate, which changes how your body works. And let's get back to Scrooge. He is a grumpy, angry person, and he's living in fear. All of his choices are done out of fear. And he's angry and selfish to everyone. And nobody likes him because of it. And he's living a miserable life. Alone. And so these ghosts come. And they... Or it was a dream. Maybe we don't know. Or maybe the ghosts actually do. Or maybe it's all in his mind. But either way, he reevaluates his life, his past life, and he learns that the things that happened in his past life are what made him who he is today. So the things he does today will make him who he is going to be in the future. And you can learn to change who you are by reevaluating how you got where you are today. And he does that by looking at his past, looking at what he learned, looking at the things that he's done, taking stock of himself and his thoughts, seeing where he is today, and then wanting to change the future by his actions today. And you can do that. And that's what an awakening is, because you get out of the selfish living and get into the selfless living and concentrate on helping others. And however you want to do it, you can help others in any way you want. You can work in the healthcare industry. You can be a fireman or a policeman to help society and people. There are enlightened people all around us. There's not many, because most people don't attain enlightenment. There are fluctuations throughout history where more people did at times, like during the Enlightenment era. But once America came along, when the settlers first came here, there was some of this brought here, and because the Freemasons are teaching the same thing as Catholics in the esoteric teaching of Catholics. So the teaching of enlightenment, how to attain it, and you know, these are secrets, they're mysteries, and they were brought here but lost. But it doesn't matter what you do to help others, as long as it's coming from a selfless place instead of a selfish place. Because even if you're helping others, if you're doing it solely for the money, or for me, what it does for me, well, you might miss the point, and you won't ever become enlightened, because that's only one of the parts of the process, too, is living a selfless life, like Jesus said, the way. The way. What is the way? The way is living good and understanding what good is. And that's what Scrooge does in this movie. He reevaluates and goes through a process of enlightenment. And suddenly, in the blink of an eye, overnight, his whole attitude changes, and he starts to be giving and sharing and caring about other people. He switches, which we can do. And that's what Christmas is about. It's about reevaluating who we are, looking inside, and figuring out what we can do to be a better person. Because it only helps ourselves. Evil and living in the selfish lifestyle creates suffering within our mind, because that's just the way it is. I can go into a whole other movie on why selfishness creates suffering, and which I may, because it's all done psychologically. It's not who you are, not who you were meant to be, because you'll figure that out when you grow. And that's what I wanted to point out about this movie, Scrooge, because most people miss it. They think that it's just a story about ghosts, and Scrooge becomes a happier person, but it's the deeper meaning is we can all, you don't have to be a grumpy, angry old man in order to have a spiritual enlightenment. You can be a good person too. And it will also change you. Because it's not about being, because we all have selfishness. We all do. If you say, I'm not a selfish person, you're lying to yourself. Because we all have this selfishness in us. And it's almost for self-preservation, because if we don't, we may die. You can't give up your life for somebody else. That wouldn't be right, would it? That's what Jesus is talking about. And that gets even deeper. That's what he was talking about. He did. So we don't have to. Self-preservation is you may have to steal an apple from somebody. If you're starving, you're going to die. And you're not going to suffer because of doing that selfish act. But if you're not, and you got a pile of apples, and you steal an apple from somebody who's poor, who needs it, and you steal their food and they die, that selfish act you live with, that creates suffering, because it's creating demons, which are negative thought processes in your mind. And I think that's all as far as I want to go on this, because it's pretty basic and straightforward. Even though the story of A Christmas Carol has a lot more in it, the best one is the one with Jim Carrey, because they keep the original text from Dickens in it, and it's not changed much from the Dickens, how the book was wrote. A lot of the other stories of A Christmas Carol and Ebenezer Scrooge are changed a lot, and they miss the meaning. But the newer one that has Jim Carrey in it, look that one up and watch that one again this Christmas season. Thank you for watching, and you have a great day.